One really, really big fad that's going on right now is Ozempic. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, I definitely tried it. When I tell you it was the worst decision I ever made. So if this is a warning to anyone, please, if you're thinking about doing it, do not take it. Like, it's so not worth it. So I took it for 2 weeks and I've never felt so sick in my life. It's not like you can stop taking it. It's like a pill or something that you just don't take when you wake up in the morning. Like, it's in your system. I felt so sick one day. I'd said to my friend, like, I can't keep any water down. I can't keep any food down, like no liquids, nothing. I need to go to the hospital. Like, I feel really sick. We're waiting in the ER. It's taking forever. We go and see one of the nurses and she's like, how much of a dose are you taking? And I was like, however much. And she said, oh my God, like, that's so not what you're meant to be taking. She asked how much weight I dropped in the last 2 weeks. She sent me to the emergency room. I got wheelchaired through the hospital. At one point, I went to the bathroom, felt really sick, and I felt like I was gonna pass out. And I said to her, I feel something's happening, like I don't feel good. As soon as I get into the room where I get seen by another nurse, I literally had a seizure from how dehydrated I was, which honestly was the scariest thing that's ever happened to me in my life. My friend Reese had to hold my feet down and it was just so scary, like the whole situation. I didn't know what was going on. Like, my face was clenching up. My whole body was like tense. Like, I couldn't, my hands, it was so weird. I don't know if anyone's ever had a seizure before, but it was like your hands like clench up and you can't move them and it feels like you're gonna like break your hand. It was honestly horrible. I hope that like by me talking about this can maybe be a lesson to some people that like it's so not worth it. All these celebrities are on it right now. And it's so hard to look at that and see these dramatic weight losses, especially for people with eating disorders and problems with eating. It's like, it's so hard to see that when maybe you're not someone who drops weight quickly or you're struggling with recovery and things like that. It's just so not what we need right now. It's just, where did the body positivity go? A lot has been going on in my life. I have a boyfriend. So weird to say, because I've quite literally been single since the dawn of time. I have been single for, I would say about 7 years, because that was my last serious relationship. I've had little things in between, but nothing serious and nothing that I would like say was, nothing that I would say was serious, basically. So yeah, it's really weird. I have a boyfriend and I cannot stop talking about it. I don't know if anyone else is like this, but when I have a man, I am so my man. Like, literally people have brought it up to me and they're like, you need to stop talking about it. It's so annoying. But I don't care. I'm in love and I'm so happy. He's amazing. He's a DJ. I always kind of knew that I'd date someone in the creative space because with my schedule, I need someone that can fit into it, And he is always traveling, which is so fun because then I get to go with him. And I get to be the little DJ girlfriend in the booth, just like dancing, living my life. I get to wear slutty little hot outfits. It's so fun. I love it. So today I really wanted to talk about something that I think is so relevant right now. And I think it's really important to talk about as well because we kind of set these body standards and these beauty standards, and they have been set for obviously years, but it's so interesting how they change and how quickly they change depending on like who is current, who's just like a celebrity that's popping off at the time, kind of what celebrities are setting. I feel like they set the standards for most people, to be completely honest. Like for me, when I'm looking online, that's probably when I feel worst about myself. And I see all of these celebrities that look incredible and so perfect. But obviously we have to remember that they have a whole team behind them of personal trainers, of nutritionists, of all these people that just helping them, surgeons, people helping them look that good. I think my first sort of, I would say, run-in with sort of my body image was when I was, to be fair, a lot older, I think, than most people. I think I speak to some of my friends and they talk about how they didn't like their body or they wanted to be skinny when they were super young. For me, I was always quite fortunate that I was always quite slim. My parents always fed me very healthy foods and things like that. So when I was younger, it kind of was quite easy for me to feel quite good about myself. My parents never, and I used to always get so angry with them about this, they would never pack me anything like sugary or sweet, like any chocolates or anything in my packed lunch. And so I'd trade people. I'd be there with my hummus and my carrot sticks trying to trade it out. I was like, please, someone swap with me. Like, I literally was like, why can't I just have something normal? I was having smoked salmon for my breakfast and my lunch, like every single day. Like, obviously I love smoked salmon, so it was fine, but it was just not the vibes when I was like 5 years old and I was going into school and everyone else had like fruit winders and crisps and chocolate, like penguin bars. Oh, penguin bars were my life. Like, and I just sat there with my healthy foods. It was so annoying. But you know what? I'm really thankful that they did do that. And, you know, any sort of unhealthy foods were always a treat for me. So it made me have quite a healthy relationship with food. My mum and dad like never restricted me. They never you could say they did with the hummus and the carrot sticks, but like not badly, you know, like they didn't do it badly. But yeah, I think my body image issues definitely started when I started doing modeling. And I think that was probably when I first sort of noticed that like things were different with my body than they were with other girls. I think I'd grown up where like it wasn't really anything that we spoke about, to be honest. Like, it's weird, like no girls that I really, you know, had as friends, they didn't really have any like eating disorders or anything as far as I knew, like, which is so strange because as I've grown up, so many of my friends have had problems with eating or eating disorders. But when I was at school, it never really was apparent to me, which is so unusual. I'm sure there were girls that I knew that definitely had eating disorders or had problems with their body, you know, and things like that, but I just never really was aware of it. And as I got into modelling and moved to London and stuff, it became so much more apparent. I think because you're going out and you're around boys and you're wanting to just like dress up and look good, I think it becomes much more of like you start looking at how everybody else looks in the same outfit as you, or if you're sharing clothes with your friends and like it doesn't fit and you're like, oh my God, like that is the worst feeling ever. And when I first started modelling when I was 18, I'd been modelling for a couple of years, but nothing serious. But when I seriously started modelling, when I'd moved to London, I had been given a personal trainer. It was one of the first things that happened to me. I got given a personal trainer. And he was, I still love him to this day. We still train together. He's incredible. And the problem with it was that I didn't even realize I needed one. And I don't think I did at that age. But he was so restricting with some foods for like periods of time. And then I would binge when I was allowed to eat. It was like, you know, I'd have fashion week to get ready for. So it would be, right, 23-inch waist, 32 around the hips. So then I'd get myself down to that size by only eating like one carb a day, which was literally a small piece of toast. Everything else was just like rice, salmon, chicken, like eggs, like really, really healthy, no sweets, nothing. And then when I would be, you know, fashion week would be done, which most of the time I didn't get any shows anyway. So I was like, great, got down to this weight for no reason. And so when I would stop and I'd come back home from fashion week, I would literally binge the life out of everything. Like I would eat so much food. I was eating like pizzas and everything. At one time, I remember I'd come back from fashion week. I was like, right, I can just like binge now. I can eat whatever I want. And then I got a call up to do Victoria's Secret casting, not for the show, for a campaign. And I was like, oh my God, I have not been looking at what I'm eating. And I just remember feeling so bad about myself going to it, even though I was probably a lot slimmer than I am now. It made me develop such bad like habits with food where I like wouldn't eat for a bit and then I would eat loads because I would be like so starved. And one thing about me is like I love food. I would rather eat a piece of cake and like feel like happy that I got to eat that than walk past it and not get it, because I'll be thinking about that for the rest of the day. Like I love food. I'll always get like nice thing on the menu. I can't be sitting there with the Caesar salad, picking it like a rabbit. I need to like have nice food. It's just always been me. And I think I'm very lucky that I have that relationship with food where I do love food. But I have gotten to a point, I would say probably my biggest weight, and it actually made me so insecure. But during COVID, and I feel like a lot of people can relate with this, is during COVID, obviously there was nothing to do, just sat at home doing absolutely nothing, watching Netflix, like Tiger King, it was big. Do you know what I mean? We weren't doing anything. So all I was doing was eating, going for my one measly walk a day. And because none of the gyms were open, it was so difficult to get out there and do exercise. And it was so easy to just sit in and eat. And when I tell you, I gained so much weight, it's the heaviest I've ever been. And when I look back at pictures of it, I'm like, oh my God, I don't even recognize myself. And that is a weight that to this day, I have struggled to lose. It's like, I honestly don't even know how much it was, but it was definitely over a stone. Like, must have been at least 2 stone. Like, it was so bad. I was eating a pack of Oreos every single day. And my niece, who I was staying with at the time, she was baking banana bread. And every single day I was just demolishing that banana bread. Like, it was so problematic, but I just didn't care. And I thought, you know what? We might be here for years. We might not be allowed out of the house for years. Like, I'm just going to get fat. And it's just not going to matter. And then a few months go by and suddenly they're like, right, everyone just go back into society. And I was like, I am not ready for this. I think also after that, my mental health really deteriorated. And that's another thing with weight. I think like if you're not feeling good mentally, your eating habits become really bad. And mentally for me after that, like I was just not happy. I was kind of lost and my eating habits were just fluctuating. Like I got really slim after lockdown, then I put on all the weight again and I got really slim and then it's always been like that for me. And it's just annoying, honestly. Like I have so many friends that are models and are so thin and I'm just like, oh, I wish I could be you. But then I do love my body. And it's so important to remember that like everyone's different. Everyone has a different body type. I think when I was modeling, I was more strict on myself to be really, really slim because I didn't have the height as an advantage. So I was like, right, if I'm going to be small, I need to at least be really skinny. But I know that's not my body type. Like I have a big bum, I've got boobs. I just need to embrace that. Even to this day, I need to remind myself to just embrace it. Like I'm a little bit of a curvy girl and I love it. Do you know what I mean? I like having a bum and I like having my boobs and, you know, it's me. And I think that's a really important message to just remember, like, whatever you look like, just embrace it, like get into it. And there's so many different clothes that you can wear now that just like suit your body type. Every body type is like catered for now. This is actually such a funny story. So I used to get shamed for, and it's not even like, I feel like I'm gonna cry. I used to get shamed because I used to always eat a ham and cheese sandwiches. Oh my God, I'm actually crying. And I don't, like, it sounds funny when I say it out loud, but like it actually was really mean. Like, I still to this day love a ham and cheese sandwich. I'm not going to lie. Like, I had one this morning, period. And I used to go in, every time I went into my agency, I was normally like eating one because I would have just gone to the shop or something. And I remember I had an agent that actually shamed me for eating. She was like, well, here she goes again with the ham and cheese sandwich. And I was like, okay, like what did the ham and cheese sandwich do to you? Like it's honestly is so wild because I see so many I know the point of it was that they wanted me to be slim, but I have so many like really slim friends that eat so unhealthily and stay really, really slim. So maybe the ham and cheese sandwich wasn't affecting me. I mean, it was, but who cares? But that was something that like stuck with me for so long. And like, even when I eat ham and cheese sandwiches now, I still think like, oh my God, like that was so bad. But I think, yeah, because I was very small compared to the other models, I think I definitely felt a pressure to be skinnier. I remember we had a nutritionist talk at our agency, at my old agency, and she came in and she was like, she gave us this list and it was like 20 models and it was this list of all these things that we were allowed to eat, all these things we weren't allowed to eat and things like that. And I was just looking at them and one of the other models literally looked at me and she went, so does this mean we can't get McDonald's? And I was like, babe, no. Do you know what I mean? But a lot of the models that I saw were like, some of them would be eating like literal green peas, just like, and I could never, I would rather have, I still to this day would rather have a little bit of weight on me than be super skinny and not eat, because I love food. That is just that plain and simple. One really, really big kind of fad that's going on right now is Ozempic. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, I definitely tried it. I mean, a few months ago, I was not feeling happy with my weight. I had a friend and she could get it for me. And it was kind of below board, I'm not going to lie. It was from a doctor, but it wasn't like you go into the doctor's office and he gives it to you, prescribes it to you. He takes your blood pressure and he takes all of these tests, which is what you need if you're going to go on something like Ozempic. Because at the end of the day, it is a medication, it is dangerous. It's not really meant for weight loss of people that aren't, you know, of a very large size. Like it's, as in when I was taking it, the amount that I was taking was actually meant for people who are 100 kilos and over, and I'm in the 50s range. So it's these small things that I wish I'd known before taking it. But anyway, I took it. My friend had got it for me. You inject it into your leg, or you can inject it into other places, I think, but like the leg is probably best. And yeah, you can inject it into your stomach, but I injected it into my leg to like feel less sick. And when I tell you it was the worst decision I ever made. So if this is a warning to anyone, please, if you're thinking about doing it, do not take it. Like it's so not worth it. I would rather diet any day than take that again. It made me feel so nauseous. I took it for 2 weeks and you get like a pen and then it comes with different doses. And you take one injection 1 week, one injection the next week, and you take it like every week. And I've never felt so sick in my life. I was throwing up. It was horrible. I took a lower dosage the first time I took it. And then I went up higher. And I ended up being in bed for like 2 days, I think, at one point, and felt so sick. My weight had dropped. I think like I started at about 60 kilos. And then I went down to about 57 with the first sort of dose. And then I went down to like 54. Like it was crazy. I think my lowest was 53. And in terms of like in a few weeks, that's not a healthy weight loss and that's not a healthy drop. And when I was in bed for those 2 days and it was sort of the end of it and I was just like wanting to come off of it because it's not like you can stop taking it. It's like a pill or something that you just don't take when you wake up in the morning. Like it's in your system and it's there. And I felt so sick one day. I'd said to my friend, like, I can't keep any water down. I can't keep any food down, like no liquids, nothing. I need to go to the hospital. Like I feel really sick. I have a picture and like my eyes were like almost like concaving in. Like it was so dead. My face was dark, like dead. Like there was no color in it. So we went to the ER at like 3 a.m. because it was like, I literally just, it was 3 a.m. I was like, I can't like even get water down. Like this is so bad. So I went to the hospital. We're waiting in the ER. It's taking forever. We go and see one of the nurses and she's like, how much of a dose are you taking? And I was like, you know, however much. And she said, oh my God, like that's so not what you're meant to be taking. She asked how much weight I dropped in the last 2 weeks. I told her. She was like, right, we need to get someone to come and get you. So she sent me to the emergency room. I got wheelchaired through the hospital. My friend was there with me and she was just funny. It's so funny. Like I obviously was dying, but she was just funny. It's so funny. And she had to wheel me through. Like it was so funny. When I think back at it now, it was hilarious. And she'd also come back from a night out. So she'd been out on a night out and took me to the hospital when she was drunk. which love her. Like, honestly, she's going to come on the pod. She's one of my best friends. She's a blonde, such an amazing girl. But yeah, she was basically drunk, took me to the ER, and she was just sat there with me the entire time. And at one point I went to the bathroom, felt really sick, and I felt like I was going to pass out. And I said to her, like, I feel something's happening. Like, I don't feel good. We'll be waiting in the, for like the emergency room, like as a different section. And then as soon as I get into the room where I get seen by another nurse, which is where they like basically do the bloods and everything like that, I literally had a seizure from how dehydrated I was, which honestly was the scariest thing that's ever happened to me in my life. I've never, ever had seizures. I've never, ever had like any serious health problems in my life, really. And it just scared me so much. My friend Reese had to hold my feet down, and it was just so scary, like the whole situation. I didn't know what was going on. Like, my face was clenching up. My whole body was like tense. Like, I couldn't, my hands, it was so weird. I don't know if anyone's ever had a seizure before, but it was like your hands like clench up and you can't move them. And it feels like you're gonna like break your hand. It was honestly horrible. And I hope that like by me talking about this and kind of saying my experience with it, it can maybe be a lesson to some people that like it's so not worth it. And if, you know, it's for diabetes, it's not for weight loss really. And I get that in the press right now and in the media, everyone and all these celebrities are on it right now. And it's so hard to look at that and see these dramatic weight losses, especially for people with eating disorders and problems with eating. It's like, it's so hard to see that when maybe you're not someone who drops weight quickly or you're struggling with recovery and things like that. It's just so not what we need right now. This heroin chic trend right now coming back, which was something that happened in the 90s. Like, we should not be going back there. This should not be a trend right now. It's just, where did the body positivity go? Like, where did the body positivity go here? I don't understand, because we were doing so well. The curvy girls were eating. Like, it was becoming like more of a trend to be curvier and to be like, just like sexy. And then now it's just gone back in time to this like heroin chic, like not eating, like being super, super thin. And obviously, if that's your body type and you are a person who is just naturally very thin, then obviously like this excludes you. But just be happy with your weight and be happy that you have a body that actually functions and actually works, instead of putting it through something like that. It can be so detrimental in the future for your body. You don't realize it now, but restricting foods and things like that can really be so detrimental in the future. And it can be harder to lose weight in the future for you if you do restrict those foods now. I think at the end of the day, it is going to be hard, and it's always going to be hard going on social media nowadays and seeing everyone looking perfect, looking flawless, looking airbrushed, looking a certain way with their body. But we just have to remember that everyone's bodies is different. And a lot of these people, it's not natural. And they have a lot of help and a big team behind them. I have gotten to a place with my weight now where I am happy. And I think maybe because I have a boyfriend, I'm going to mention it again. But I think by him loving me, it's made me love myself more in all areas. And so I'm really grateful for that. So now we come to one of my favorite segments. I mean, if not my favorite, I'm absolutely obsessed with the stories that you guys send in. They are hilarious. They make everyone on my team laugh, including me. So let's get right into it. Let's dive in. The first one we have is, "Hi Lottie, I'm 27 years old and I'm struggling with dating anxiety. Every time I set up a date, I get really nervous and end up cancelling at the last minute. This has happened multiple times now, and I'm afraid people will start thinking I'm uninterested. The truth is, I want to meet someone and start a relationship. But my fear always gets the better of me. I've tried talking myself into going through with the dates, but the anxiety is overwhelming. How do I overcome this fear? Annie." So Annie, I can completely relate with this. Honestly, Dating is the hardest thing ever, and it's the worst as well when you go on loads of dates and they're just not working out. Obviously, you haven't really explained where the anxiety came from, but I'm sure it is just like, it's hard meeting new people and it's scary. And it's also hard putting yourself out there with that thing of like, you might get rejected. The rejection for me is so difficult, and I don't handle rejection well at all. So I can completely relate. But honestly, if you don't try, you will never know. I was dating for years and always was just dating losers. It was never ending up well. Every date I went on, I would just get absolutely annihilated drunk so that I could just leave and be like, oh, sorry, I'm too drunk. I need to go home. Like, because I had the worst anxiety with it too. But like, honestly, now I've met someone, it's made me realize that you just have to put yourself out there. And funnily enough, on the first date that I went on with my boyfriend, I really didn't want to go. And I was like, oh, it's just going to end up being another one of those where I go on a date, nothing happens, and, you know, he'll never speak to me again. So I went, I was so relaxed. I was just like, whatever, who cares? At least I just get some free drinks and some free food. And now we've been together 6 months. So you never, ever know. And maybe I would recommend some rescue remedies, have a little drink before, having a little gossip with your friends, speak to your friends about it because I'm sure they can relate. Maybe getting a friend to come over and help you get ready and help you sort of pump up, listen to some music before. Just get excited, get dolled up, make yourself feel good. And if it doesn't work out on the date, worst that's going to happen is that you just leave and never speak to them again. Do you know what I mean? If you're not into it and they're not into it, it's fine. You can just go meet your friends after, have a few drinks and get drunk. Second bedtime story. Help, Lottie. My boyfriend has turned into my own personal life coach and I did not ask for this. I'm obsessed. I'm 25 years old and live in East London. Big up. I love going out with the girls, drinking spicy mugs and eating nice food, mood, and having a good time. Sometimes I stay out until 6 a.m. I think that's pretty normal for a girl in her 20s. Did I write this in? Is this me? Like, I'm honestly the best behaved out of my friend group. My boyfriend is making it his life mission to change my lifestyle. He gets genuinely angry if I don't go to the gym. He judges me every time I drink, every time I eat something that's not salmon and salad. He has to make a comment about how unhealthy it is. All right, don't slate the salmon, all right? It's good. The worst thing is that he wakes me up every Sunday at 7 a.m. with his breathing exercises that sound like a cross between a wind tunnel and a wild animal while I'm lying next to him hungover from the night before. This is so funny. Oh my God, I'm obsessed with you. All right, B, I'm actually obsessed with you. Do you think it's possible to be in a relationship with such different lifestyles? I mean, babe, the 7 a.m. wake up call for me is such a red flag. I would quite literally throw him out of a window if he did that, to be completely honest. But, okay, I do get this, but most of the time for me, I've only dated guys who take far more drugs than I ever did and drank far more than I ever did and were just heinous human beings. So it's difficult for me because I've actually never been with anyone that has had a more healthy lifestyle. My boyfriend now, though, he goes on a run every single day and I cannot relate. I can't lie. He gets like upset if he misses his sauna appointment. I'm like, you have to drag me to that sauna appointment, to be completely honest. But honestly, babe, you're in your 20s, live your life, tell him to chill out, take a chill pill. If this is something that's going to be a problem in your relationship and he's not down with it and it annoys you that much, maybe you guys are not meant to be. Because I think you do need someone that enjoys the same things as you. Like my boyfriend, he loves fitness, he works out a lot, but at the same time, he does like going out and having a drink and having fun. And I'm quite similar where I do enjoy going to gym and working out, going to my yoga classes. But at the same time, I love a drink. I love a Friday night out. I love a pub, love a club. Do you know what I mean? So I do think that having balance is healthy. If you don't really have that balance, you're only 25, you might find it. And if not, meet somebody else who just enjoys going out and doesn't enjoy going to the gym. I can just imagine this girl as well. Like she comes back like at the same time that he wakes up in the morning. Like she's going to bed at 6 a.m. and he's waking up at 7 a.m. Oh my God, that gives me the fear. Our third bedtime story. I have been seeing this guy for about 2 months now. He has a ginger mullet, go on, that makes him look like a shaved Garfield. Oh my God, this is funny. And he also sports the filthiest porn stash. Now, I've got to stop you there, babe. I love a porn stash. I love it. Honestly, I feel like the mullet and the stash, kind of the porn stash combo is actually giving right now. Like it's very trendy. It's very in. She says this adds to the walking ick fest. Okay, fair. Not for you then, I guess. He collects things like a 14-year-old virgin. Okay. He's got Marvel shit everywhere. There's... I can't even read it. Come and start again. He collects things like a 14-year-old virgin. He's got Marvel shit everywhere. There's Nancy Captain America posters all over his walls. Nancy Captain America posters is the funniest thing I've ever heard. It's all very odd for a 25-year-old guy. Oh my God. Sorry, babe, I'm crying. He is funny though. Think I laughed my way into his single bed in Hackney. And he does bonk like Thor, which I thought you'd agree is a modern day superpower. It's the best sex I've ever had in my life. Can you have a long-standing relationship with someone who you are shocked you've even slept with once? I don't know why I'm here, but I can't seem to leave. What's wrong with me? Emma. Right, okay. Let me just take a minute. These bedtime stories are actually hilarious today. I'm crying. Right, to be honest, I don't understand why you don't find the like whole mullet porn stash sexy. That's my first thing, because I think that's fit. But the single bed in Hackney, single bed for me is a bit of an issue, especially when you're 25. I feel like you should have a double bed. How do you even sleep in a single bed with someone else? Like, I've definitely done it when I was younger, but I think nowadays it's like, you don't want a boyfriend that's sleeping in a single bed, babe. Why can't you just go to your house and then you don't have to see any of the Nancy Captain America posters or the Marvel shit, or any of those other collections? You could just go to yours and sleep with him there if he's so good in bed. Because, I mean, I get not being interested in the same things, but at the same time, if it's great sex, it's hard to come by nowadays. So I'd hold on to that. So our final bedtime story for this episode is my fiance wants to invite his ex to our wedding. Oh my God. This is my biggest fear. I'm 31 and engaged to my dream man. We're getting married next summer and we've started putting together the guest list for the wedding. I had a big fight with him and I saw that he put his ex on the guest list. They've stayed amicable and we sometimes run into her when we visit his family in Manchester, but I feel uncomfortable about her coming to our wedding, which I think is rightfully so. He says it's no big deal and that I'm just being jealous and that she'd be upset if we didn't invite her, but I can't shake the feeling that it's just inappropriate and it's supposed to be a day that we remember forever. I've never liked her. She's always very touchy-feely. They've known each other for much longer than he's known me. Am I starting drama over nothing, or do you think it's fair to ask him to not invite her? Celine, I think it's absolutely fair enough. I wouldn't want my dirty laundry at my wedding either. And I feel like there's two types of friends of men. There's two types of girls that are friends with men. And it's like, it's either they're like genuinely, like they love them, they care about them. It's the same as if they were a woman. Like they just love them as people and they've just been friends forever, or they just really get along very well as friends. I have male friends who I've never gotten with, who I love, would never touch them with a 10-foot barge pole, but they are just very good friends of mine. And their girlfriends have definitely been jealous of me, but I have never like shown any reason to be. But then there are the girls that they're like, oh my gosh, like his mom loves me. And you're like, just get away. Stop it. It's so annoying. And it's so annoying when you can see it and they can't. They're like, no, she's just my friend. I'm like, she wants to fuck you. Like, Let's be honest here. Like, you just love the attention that she gives you. So honestly, babe, it's your wedding. It's your day. Don't let anyone ruin it. And she ain't coming to the wedding. Let's be honest. So today we've covered body image. We've covered my boyfriend. We have covered some crazy bedtime stories. But that is the end of the episode. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.